Welcome to the Intuitive Hour with psychic medium, author, and intuitive life coach, MICHELLEI Beltran. The Intuitive Hour will empower you to learn how to magnify your intuitive voice. Listen in and expand your understanding of what it means to be psychic and how to awaken, amplify, and trust your inner voice.
Hello. Welcome back to another episode of the Intuitive Hour, Awaken Your Inner Voice. I'm your host, MICHELLEI Beltran. All right, we're talking today about medical intuition. This will be a fun episode. I'm looking forward to it. It will be a little bit different than past episodes. Today, I'm going to offer several techniques and even homework assignment exercises, much like if you were in a course with me. So you'll get to feel what that might be like. I'll leave you with these exercises and perhaps consider next week's episode on your responses or questions. All right, just a few announcements before we begin. I want to invite everyone to head on over to michellebeltran.com. Make sure you're a part of our newsletter. We've got a whole lot of awesome changes and ongoings, to include a recent mention in USA Today's article, Top 10 Female Conscious Leaders to Watch in 2022. I am over the moon to be included in that publication. That article released at USA Today. We've got a new website launching in a few weeks. Also, a couple books I've been invited to co-author in. I'm super excited about. One of them, Embrace Your Feminescence, has released just last month in digital form at Amazon. That book, I'm so excited to share with you, has made Amazon bestseller list. So please be sure to get your copy and have a look-see at that wonderful book. It's a collection of women raising their consciousness, sharing their stories of transformation, talking candidly about how they have navigated adversity and chosen to reclaim their power by tapping into their feminescence. Embrace Your Feminescence will challenge your thinking, dig into your most profound truth, speak to your soul, and have you fully immersed in the activities peppered throughout each of the co-author stories. I am sure you're going to love it. So again, michellebeltran.com. Be sure to sign up for our newsletter so that you can receive all the updates and ongoings and events, and learn how to get your copy of Embrace Your Feminescence. All right, and so without further ado, we will begin our episode today. We're talking all about medical intuition and what it is. Okay, so as a medical intuitive, we describe for people, those that we might be working with, family, friends, the nature of physical ailments, as well as energy maladies or issues or dysfunctions that are present within their bodies. We read energy fields that is within the body or surrounds the body. We tune into chakras and auras, picking up various bits of information, not just about the physical body and what might be ailing it, but also childhood experiences, behaviors, belief systems, all of which have an impact on a person's physical health. So then, we take this information and we perceive it inwardly, intuitively. We look at their energy fields, their chakras, their auras, and we make recommendations for supporting them, both on a physical and spiritual level. Remember, we're not doctors, and we're not diagnosing. As a medical intuitive, you want to be focused on one goal in particular, and that is to care for and treat the body and the spirit equally. We're working with both. When it comes to discussing medical advice, we're limited because we're not medical doctors. It's vitally important to make the statement when you're working with others on a medical intuitive level that you're not a medical doctor and you are not providing diagnosis. You may, however, describe symptoms as you are getting them intuitively. This is your gift, after all, and this is okay to do. Most certainly you use extra precaution any time, though, that you're talking about health of another person or guiding them in this way. All right, so as a medical intuitive, how do you recognize information in your body as you receive it? It may come through your body, it may come clairvoyantly, it may come clairaudiently, which means to hear. Intuitive insight can come in a number of different ways, but it can also come in your own body that you feel. Very often, those in the medical intuitive industry are empaths and healers on a natural level, and they receive information directly through their body as they support and guide others in their healing and getting their bodies back in balance. So it's possible that as a medical intuitive, you could be feeling the pain of others through your body. And there's a fine line to determine whose is whose. Through practice, you begin to recognize when you're experiencing your pain or the pain of someone else that you could be mixing energy with. As you get better and better, you learn how to do this for sure. With practice, the skill becomes exceptional for you. So, I want to ask you to consider as homework for this next week to write in your journal a time where you felt the pain in your body of someone else. Describe that experience in detail and how it felt to realize the pain or even the emotion that was not yours. How could you tell? Bring that experience forward as a reminder. Really be present with it and journal about it in detail. You might try meditating first. Again, should you feel so inclined, I absolutely invite you to send an email and share this experience with me. And we could consider including it on an upcoming episode that may help others in their work of medical intuition. All right, so as we know, working in the medical intuitive field on a formal level requires formal training, at length, qualified training. However, at times we find ourselves in situations as we're learning, exploring, perhaps talking with friends or family members about medical situations and issues ongoing. So, I want to challenge you this week to create a situation or be mindful of opportunities where you can guide others around medical intuitive health matters, energy health. Remember, as we've discussed, you're not a doctor, and you're not making medical diagnosis. You're extremely careful and cautious with your words in this situation, describing the matter and not diagnosing. As you sit with this person and guide them around their healing and health issues or medical intuitively, use words depending on the severity, on a scale, if you will. Meaning, you might say, I don't feel you're in danger. I'm feeling like this is a go, a green light. Or, I recommend you make an appointment with the doctor. Or, I highly recommend you see a doctor. And finally, you very highly recommend the visiting of a doctor. You will get an internal sense of an urgency. Tune into that. All right, so it can be a tricky thing to know how to provide recommendations without giving medical advice. Always reassure who you're working with that they'll be okay. As well, it's important that you come from an optimistic, helpful point of view and not provide frightful or alarming information. Rather, provide supportive, helpful, guiding information. Anytime you're discussing health concerns, reassure the person you're working with of their support group, of their options, that they're not alone. Very often, people just need to be heard. You can listen to a person, or you can hear them. There's a difference. Really hearing them goes a long way. Most often, clients suffering from health issues really just need to be heard. So, get in the habit of repeating back to them what they are saying to you. They want someone to understand what they're going through. Okay, in that light, homework on this matter, on this issue. Write in your journal a response to some of the circumstances I'm going to mention here shortly. We're stepping into empathic listening, a very powerful tool in therapy and medical intuition. As you step into this homework, be yourself. Forget this is an exercise or homework, and be natural when expressing your ideas and feelings. As an example to begin, someone says to you, I've suffered from terrible arthritis in my hands. If you are doing empathic repeating, you might say something like, I'm so sorry. That must make you feel so limiting to not be able to use your hands to full capacity. You're hearing them and you're repeating back. We call this, again, empathic listening. You want to become an expert at it in this kind of work. All right. So, in your homework, in your journal, create responses of your own in an empathic listening style to the following responses. I've had chronic fatigue syndrome for most of my life. Okay, this is an empathic repeating. What would you say back to this person? Breast cancer runs in my family, and I'm terribly afraid I'm going to get it. I want children someday, and I fear I will pass this on to them. Next, I'm very depressed. Again, what would you say in this situation if you are offering an empathic repeating? Consider more severe conditions or situations. If a person doesn't want to live, or they just learned that the love of their life has found a new relationship. What would you say? Now, as a reminder, don't fall into your heart space. Stay in the center of your head. We call that the gift of neutrality. If you're not familiar with that, please revisit that episode here at the Intuitive Hour. When you're doing this work, we need you to stay neutral, unbiased, and not drop down into your emotional heart space. If you do that, you become too close and emotionally involved, and you cannot offer neutral, unbiased guidance. You might notice that as you answer these questions in your homework, you do that very same thing. So catch yourself, go back into the center of your head, and offer unbiased, sound, neutral information supporting them. All right, now then, earlier in our episode, I talked about urgent situations and using a scale with your words. So, what do you do with information that seems urgent or critical? You're in the situation where you feel this person very, very highly should contact a medical expert. I want you to take some time, give some thought to that situation as homework. How would you handle information that you're receiving, an intuitive sense that you strongly receive, telling you that this person has some severe condition, perhaps cancer? You have a sense about that. Write in your journal how you're going to word this to that person without alarming them and causing fear and panic. All right. As I mentioned, everyone, I welcome your questions or discussion on anything that has been discussed in this episode today. As you can see, this is a very dynamic and important topic. It also comes with great, great discretion. Energy medicine, medical intuition has been with us for eons. The principles and techniques here were known to ancient Hindu and Chinese cultures. However, as you know, it works in conjunction with mainstream medicine as well. So, of course, keep that in mind as you begin to learn and develop and explore medical intuition more and more. All right, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of your week. I look forward to meeting with you again next week for another episode of metaphysical learning, psychic development, and intuitive exploration.
Kick off the new year with 25% off a 30-minute session with Michelle. Visit michellebeltran.com and click on Sessions. Then use the coupon code INTUITIVEHOUR25 when you check out. This special offer is available for a limited time. Book your session with Michelle today at michellebeltran.com.